Let us closely examine what thought is, and let us try to decipher what it is that causes thoughts to arise in our minds. It is clear that when we think, there is a movement within consciousness that we are aware of. An impression in the mind seems to arise out of nothing. That impression might be a word or a sentence or an image or something more obscure. An interesting point to note about thought is that it appears to be spontaneous. If you are asked to think of a fruit, for instance, then one fruit rather than another will enter your awareness quite spontaneously. Give it a try. You might think apple or watermelon without having any particular reason for thinking of the fruit you chose. It is not necessary for you to have had an apple for breakfast or to have seen a watermelon in your local store earlier today for you to think of those particular fruits. It seems that we never know what our next thought will be. If I asked you to tell me what you will be thinking about in a minute or in an hour's time, you will have no idea. We do not plan our thoughts, they arise spontaneously. One argument for this might be that our thoughts are always linked to our needs, drives and desires. Therefore, I might start thinking about lunch because a feeling of hunger has arisen in my body. I might start thinking about going out to a club because of a sexual urge. And in a more complex way, I might think that I need to do some study so I can achieve good grades, so I can get a good job, which will ensure me a steady income so I don't have to worry about food and shelter in the future. But these explanations, which link thoughts to desires, fail to explain the often random nature of thought. Why does the theme tune to a TV series I haven't seen for years suddenly enter my mind as I'm out taking a walk? Why, when asked to name any city in the world, do I choose Prague rather than Moscow? It doesn't seem that we can argue that we're in control of our thoughts, so we must look for other reasons to explain why thoughts arise. I think there are only two possible explanations. Either our thoughts are being determined by past events, or they are being brought into existence by a power operating in the present moment, which is God. Creative thought is an obvious example of how thoughts are not determined by past events. It would be absurd if the thoughts that a composer thinks while writing a symphony could be explained by evolution or some kind of Big Bang event or childhood experiences. Seeing our present moment thoughts as the result of the past simply doesn't make sense. The random, unpredictable and spontaneous nature of thought means that there is only one feasible explanation as to why thoughts arise. There must be a power that is in control in the present moment, bringing our thoughts into and out of existence. That power is God. Of course, it is not just our thoughts that happen spontaneously. If we observe the unfolding of events within our consciousness, we can see that everything is happening spontaneously. Our hearts are beating spontaneously, our hair is growing spontaneously, we walk along without knowing how we walk, and we think without knowing how we think. The reason why all these things happen spontaneously is because God is doing them. The fact that God is controlling our thoughts has very important implications for both philosophy and science. The philosophy of mind, for instance, is useless if it neglects God. Neuroscientists and other scientists have been examining the human brain for years in order to try to understand thought. Their investigations are largely misguided because thought neither originates nor finds expression in the brain. It is people who think rather than brains, and they do so by the power of God. How do you explain the spontaneous and unpredictable nature of thought? Feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments below. In the next video we will hone in on the experience of understanding and examine what exactly understanding is with reference to God as cosmic animator. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. This video series accompanies my new book titled God's Grand Game, which is available now from all major retailers. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of future videos.